Like, stay tuned, man. There's more of the scoop.
To return some videotapes. 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 Videotapes.
Welcome back, once again, one and all, to the glorious Strange Glow video on the Ectoviolence channel. I'm your host, Bob Barker, and with me, as always, is Denny Trejo.
I was going to say, I'm Andy Richter.
I don't know why that... Yeah, that came to mind first. Denny Trejo just popped in there. It just popped in there.
Nice. Yeah, no, I'm more like the Andy Richter here. You're the popular one. You're the famous one on the show now, and I'm just the guy that shows up here, and everyone's like, oh, there's Andy. Cool. Wonder what he's going to say tonight. I'm just here occasionally to make things fun.
Exactly. So Andy finally saw Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma, and we're just going to chat and hang out tonight, so...
Yeah, if you got anything, throw it in the chat. Let us know what you've seen lately. But yeah, I waited to see this in theaters since it hit the wide release here, finally, last Thursday.
Yeah.
What's crazy is how long it's taken this movie to hit, because it had the Cannes Film Festival release on May 12th. And then it started its limited release on August 7th. So it's kind of been a slow burner here. But I don't know. I really I had a good time with this movie. Really good time with this movie.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think the marketing doesn't necessarily do it any favors, like some of the mainstream marketing, I should say. If you're following it on Instagram, like the director and the movie itself, you'll probably get a better idea what the movie's about. But
yes, I would say the mainstream marketing of this doesn't kind of show you what this is really about. Like, it almost feels like they're shooting the remake of the movie to some degree, like the way they talk about this. And FYI, full spoilers here. So if you haven't seen this, you may want to put your earmuffs on.
yeah.
But if you've seen I Saw the TV Glow and you like that, this movie is right up the alley of that, where it's not just a flat out traditional linear storytelling, right?
Yeah.
There's some stuff in there that leaves a fair amount of ambiguity for the audience to interpret, but I found that made this movie a lot more enjoyable for me. So.
Yeah. A lot of people have called both of these movies, heavy-handed in their metaphors. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, I said this in my regular review, I think that the films are basically, like, the characters become self-aware of the metaphors, essentially, is what's happening.
Yes.
In both of these movies. Like, there's a breaking point, and that's kind of even another metaphor in itself. They're realizing the metaphor in the movie is another whole, like, allegory in itself that the character, something the director's gone through. In the I Saw the TV Glow, it would be, the egg cracking of realizing you're trans, and then this one would just be a sexual awakening in general, but particularly a gay one. So, has a lot going on.
There's some... Yes. Well, and there's a lot of just commentary on the horror genre in general, which...
That's
and it's very self-aware of that too. Like, essentially this, like, they kind of go down the route of Little Death, which is fucking genius, because Little Death is like a term they use in French in France for orgasm, right?
Yeah.
Plus 44 has a song called Little Death. Yeah.
It's
Plus 44 had a song about that. So
it's in
if you're not
Bride of Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that alone is very fascinating for anyone who's like not familiar with that term. Like, and having the killer be named that based on like the actual climaxing that goes on like later on in this movie,
Yeah.
which is it's fascinating anyway. Just the portrayal of that because like
climax. Get it?
yeah,
Climax, because the climax is a climax in this movie. That's another whole
hmm
thing, there's lots of layers in this movie, and they're not the same kind of like. It's not a meta slasher. It's not Scream, It's meta in other ways.
no,
It's meta, and it's about a slasher movie franchise, at least.
yes,
With the scene where she's in the car telling everybody on the meeting, your character's in
hmm
a movie and shit.
yeah,
Just like laughing
that's
out loud, bro.
that was an intense like scene, just like her like accepting where she's actually at with everything. I thought was fascinating. And then trying to crack the story of like how do you reboot this movie that's got like that hasn't necessarily aged well and has gone down that whole like rabbit hole.
Well, that's the thing is the imagery, obviously, and longevity relied heavily on Friday the 13th, just so that it could
Yeah.
get the point across. But obviously, that
Yes.
first movie was kind of like an amalgamation. Amalgamate. How do you say that word? Am I an idiot? Amalgamation? Am I adding like an extra MA in there?
I don't know. Just roll with it, man. I'm not going to correct you.
You don't know either. That's what he means. Amalgamation. Blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying? It's a conglomeration, a combination of a bunch
Just
of
get-
movies.
just-
But Sleepaway Camp.
Yes.
Just
the
what?
Sleepaway Camp. The references to Sleepaway Camp. I was going to say, just get to the point, man. Like you're over here. Yeah, but the Sleepaway Camp references I thought were pretty valid because there's some. Obviously that movie has its whole thing. Like at one
Yeah,
point
it
in time,
does.
we like reviewed that movie and like people had some strong opinions about our take on it, not really realizing.
No, the thing is, we reviewed it when our channel was called the Frog Brothers Podcast, and
Yeah, that's
somebody reviewed it and or watched it and didn't understand that. Like we had basically, somebody had reviewed the movie who was trans, and we were like quoting them because it was on their on Wikipedia for Sleepaway Camp, and I was like reading directly from it, like some of the quotes by trans people, because I thought that was important to do, and have that conversation about it because it's important to me, and that ended up going weird because somebody misreported that we were like talking shit about them and being like transphobic or something, and I was like, what? I don't know. I like went back and watched it, and I was like, dear God, how is this being misconstrued?
Yeah,
what is happening?
People, yeah,
because it was like literally the furthest thing from that. But
that's a fascinating movie anyway. So the fact that it's referenced in here, I think it's the
biggest laugh for me was kind of and then when they go in the theater to watch it together, the first Camp Miasma movie, and they're sitting in there, and she says to her, "This part's transphobic," and she just shushes her, and they continue watching. It is literally just like, that's just the modern experience watching these old movies for sure. Whether you're either of these people, this is a funny scene, I think. It's particularly funny even funnier as the scene goes on, though, because it's clear the side that this film is on it takes, without this scene anyway, but you know what I mean? The way the scene goes on, and he's like, it was a guy, and he dressed in a dress, and everybody's like, oh, like it's just way over the top, like, you're scaring the straights.
Yeah, that was an interesting. I did appreciate that they had like a fair amount of the original film within the film, right? Like they showed us some of that. I thought that was very well done instead of them just like shooting a remake of a movie there. So
I honestly, that was one thing I did expect. out of this movie going in, only because I saw that TV Glow has a lot of that too. It has its own TV show, The Pink Opaque, that it filmed a lot for, that looked pretty authentic and very interesting and cool. And now this looked way over the top, and parts of it seemed more like a fantasy sequence, but it just worked.
Yes, but I will say one of my favorite things about the editing choices and all that was the cigarette burns I kept seeing on the film when they were watching it on the projector. Like you see the cigarette burns and they're a ton, right? So if you've seen Fight Club, you see yeah, exactly, and you see that in there. And I thought that was just so awesome to like have that included in there, because it's a small touch, but if you're aware of it and you're paying attention, it's great.
Yeah. Because I always did notice those as a kid when you'd go to the movie theater. In the 90s, all the projectors were still using film, so...
Yeah, for sure.
You'd go and watch a movie and you'd be like, I would notice that shit. Even at the drive-in, I would notice it and just be like, huh, I don't know what that is. It's clearly something to do with the film, because I understood how movies were projected, but...
Yeah.
Weird. We got a couple comments. Morton Review says, I'm doing a review today. I'm guessing you're doing a review of Teenage Death and Sex. That can't be Miasma. That should be good to see. John Martin, I got He-Man and the Masters of the Universe complete original series on Blu-ray 80s cartoon today. That is one that always escaped me. I was a little before my time, and then in the 90s, I looked at He-Man and I was like, that's a shitty haircut and not a cool outfit. Like the outfits that I thought looked cool, the heroes were wearing pants. So I was like, no, this guy's like a more naked Fred Flintstone with a worse haircut. Like, that's how I saw it as a kid, and I'm just being completely honest. Now I do see the appeal now, but it's just like, it wasn't cool to me. I don't know.
I'm of the generation for the He-Man stuff, but I had a He-Man toy or two as a kid. I think I had part of like one of the play sets or something that was pretty neat, but I didn't have a ton of figures. It was all Ghostbusters for me. I got nothing against He-Man one way or the other. I just never really watched it. It just wasn't my thing.
These
same
days
thing with like Transformers. I liked Transformers, but I never watched it a lot. I only had a couple of the toys, so it was like, G.I. Joe I enjoyed, but I also, it was like,
I watched Transformers
you're
the
getting your
most.
money spent.
And
yeah,
mainly Beast Wars when it was on
though.
in the 90s,
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching Beast Wars with you, because that was like the first show in a while, and it was like early computer animation, and so I remember like checking it out. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just, when I was a kid, I was just like less into the fantasy elements. I was like, all right, like He-Man, nah. But Batman? Yeah. Same thing. Like, it's like I never liked Superman. I was just like, ugh. It's just like boring. It's just like the most standard ass looking man. Sure, he's like buff, but like, I don't know. I just never, it still never connects with me. And I've watched some, like a lot of the recent movies too. And I just remember like, I'm not a super big comic book reader. I go out of my way sometimes to read them, but
Yeah, I mean, I read a lot of Spider-Man in the 90s, and then, since I've been an adult, it's just like hit or miss, like randomly. Just kind of depends on what catches my interest, but He-Man, nothing against it, but that's pretty cool. You got the box set, because I've got some full sets of shows.
Yeah.
So.
I did like the intro. I guess we kind of briefly mentioned this, but it shows all the backstory of the movie and stuff, the movies, which kind of does combine different lores from other movies and stuff. Not just Friday the 13th, but mainly Friday the 13th. They have released, in collaboration with some guy, or somebody, I should say, I don't know who, on Instagram, who designs VHS boxes. I think it's like $50 and you can get the whole box set. It doesn't come with tapes, but
you can get the boxes themselves as like a display, a collection piece. That's cool.
I want to get them because that's just cool. That's right up my alley. I could just throw some tapes in there, blank tapes, whatever.
Yeah, I like that they didn't go out of their way to like over explain the lore of Camp Miasma, right? You know, like they've got this kind of transparent, I don't know if you want to call it a cleaning suit or a hazmat suit or whatever that might be, but then you've also got this like vent head. And like to me that was fascinating. And then there's a couple of times in it where you can like really see through it and see the eyes of the person wearing the mask.
Mm-hmm.
And to me that was fascinating as well. I liked that bit, but they didn't like over explain it to us.
Yeah.
So, and then it got like weird when they went into the lake. I thought that was like fascinating shit. I was just having a good time with it because
Right.
it was just,
It's one of those movies. I did go into this expecting something that actually was going to be more of a slasher film, regardless of, and I knew that it was going to be like I saw at the TV Glow. That's why I was so excited. But at the same time, once I, like probably 15 minutes into the movie, I realized, oh, this is not going to go where I thought it's going to go, but this is going to go somewhere completely different. And it did. And I liked it though. Once I let go of that and just went with the flow, I was like, oh fuck yes. And Gillian Anderson is just queen.
She's fucking awesome.
And I had not seen Hannah Einbinder in anything until this, but perfect, like great job. I related to her character a lot, and
so that was a well-written character that like enjoys movies, you know, and like knows the movies, the depths, like
has a candy addiction.
Yes, that was amazing too. I loved all like the candy stuff, and like that was just like so silly, but it was so relatable. And like
Relatable
even
as
when
fuck.
You see her like go out of her way to intentionally like mix like the candy into the popcorn to like get that sweet and that salty combination like in the bites, you're like, okay, and like that just like really takes you into the movie, and like you can imagine eating that while you're watching it, and so it really puts you in a place where you feel like you're participating.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I'll do in the future. You know, watching this at home, you'll have to make some of that. Yeah, it was also obviously this movie's about sex and sexual awakening. It's in the title, and it's all throughout the film. But at a certain point, it does just become like, oh, this is literally about like nothing but sex. Like that is the metaphor here. And
yes.
How it's something a lot of people don't talk about, but it is something you occasionally hear somebody talking about, like, oh, my bisexual awakening was watching this movie. Because they realized, oh, it's like me watching The Mummy, right, from 1999, where you're like, wait a minute. Everyone in this movie's fucking hot, except that guy. Like, I want to be Brendan Fraser, but, like, I also want to be that woman. It's a whole weird fucking dynamic watching that. You know, it's kind of that experience brought into this movie. So for someone from that perspective, it's like brilliant, and I've never seen a movie deal with anything like that.
Yeah, and they kind of go slowly and casual there with, you know, like they make it very well known that our main character, and I'm drawing a blank on her name because I, you know, just watched it last night, but yeah, Chris and Billy. Okay, so Chris is very open about her sexuality and seems to be comfortable there, but then she's also dealing with like her personal relationship, being in that poly relationship, and then Billy is just so calm and casual. Yeah, it was fascinating watching like that relationship build throughout this.
Yeah, her accent was very interesting in here, like a very almost Dolly Parton accent, which rip.
Yes. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
That's what I kept thinking of this whole time, was just like, this is like a character that's somewhere between Elvira and Dolly Parton in the best ways, and it's played by Gillian Anderson.
Yeah,
Magic.
she's talented.
And
I mean, she's just great.
And yeah, I don't know. This might not be a lesbian sex scene, you know, that straight people will enjoy, but it was an enjoyable lesbian sex scene, I will say. I mean, from my perspective, for sure. It was very interesting.
Yes. So it wasn't, I would say it wasn't the straight white dude lesbian sex scene that everyone was hoping it probably would be. It was very sensual. It felt like there was a lot of thought put into it and like the way it was portrayed, even just down to like socks, boxers, and all that kind of stuff. That it felt like these people were being authentic, or these characters were written authentically to be themselves authentically. And yeah, it was, some of that was very intense.
Yeah.
Like just watching it, you're like, wow, that's
Well, that's the thing is, that in itself is almost another meta element of this movie, is the people watching this movie being like, oh, this is kind of hot. While that character had that experience watching Camp Miasma.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
This could be that movie for somebody later.
You
never know.
Well, and then you even have, Chris talking about, like the way she gets off and like where she goes, and like Billy like slowly walks her through it and like creates trust and comfort and connection, companionship through all this, through patience and understanding. And
it is weird because at the same time throughout this movie, you kind of don't trust Billy.
Yes, but that's the music. That's the music cues. That's 100% the music cues are set up to like show her as like this odd person out. And I think that's just misdirection, but it's also someone that's not sure could be experiencing that and feels unsafe or uncertain in those situations because they're figuring out who they are. So,
yeah,
and there's always some.
Well, you can feel the tension in these scenes too, where she's like, is she like flirting with me here?
Yeah.
Is there something here? Like, am I picking up nonsense here? What's going on? Like, there's some of that going on too. So it is very slow going until it is just like, whoa, hello.
Well, yeah, even like the innuendos with like the chicken and the dipping sauce. And then even just that whole scene of like slowly opening the cellophane wrapper on that and like dipping that, like the close-ups on the hands. It's like, it was fascinating because like,
like this is, it is a really interesting way to do a movie. I feel like this is, it is a movie in the sense that it's telling a story, but it's also just like a abstract art piece in that it's not telling it in the same way other things tell stories. And it's not even that it's not linear, because it is kind of linear throughout. There's a couple flashbacks here and there, but it's like surreal essentially, and it's
yes,
dreamlike.
I think and I hate to just always do the David Lynch reference, but
you have to here.
Yeah, you have to, because like there's this like kind of dreamscape.
Well, they used, I don't know if you saw this, but some of the behind the scenes used they used like actual matte paintings on glass and stuff.
Oh yeah, I think that was one of my favorite things about the marketing to this, is just seeing like how they showed like there wasn't really any snow there when they were doing some of that, like the matte paintings in the backgrounds, and like how they lined up the camera for the building there, because the building physically existed.
And my favorite part about that is that you combine that with the CGI blood elements and all the like, it's not just like, oh, we have to do a movie like they did in the 30s. It's like, oh no, we want to do what we think looks best and feels right and gives off the vibes we want to when we want to, and it works.
I did like the gal with the mohawk in Camp Miasma, like is the DJ there, like just her like random character vibe was fascinating.
All that stuff's fun, yeah.
Because like that was such an aesthetic in the 80s.
It felt very Return of the Living Dead.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. That's kind of, even the eye makeup was heavily influenced by that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just you. Or, yeah. And then the guy from Mulholland Drive as the gas station guy.
Yes.
I looked up his name for my review, but I've already forgotten it. But he's in a bunch of different stuff. And he's Very excellent actor. He's also in Twin Peaks: The Return.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's in The Return.
He's in a bunch of stuff, and he's in Twister. I don't think he has any lines, but he's a fun guy. And in this one, he's super weird. Like, he has that thing where he's turning black and white and shit, and all those, like, again, just very surreal scenes.
Yeah, like, are you in the reality? Are you in the movie, watching the movie? Like, I thought that was great, and I loved how it even almost had the Stranger Things vibe with the upside down, just with, like, that plasma wall.
I was going to say,
that living wall.
I see what you're saying there for sure. The Return, Twin Peaks: The Return, definitely felt like this, too, because a lot of people theorize that Twin Peaks: The Return is basically like some of the characters escaping the TV show. Like, that's what happens at the end of the movie, or the last episode, is that Cooper escapes and then goes and finds Laura Palmer, but it's not Laura Palmer. It's supposed to be reality. It's a whole thing, but it's just a theory. But, like, that's some people's take on it, which is clearly part of what's going on here.
I've come to really enjoy movies that don't just have everything laid out for you, like explained every detail, black and white. It's like, okay, here it is. Yeah. It's like, no, leave it up to your interpretation, and we don't need to say anything more than that. So everyone gets what they get out of it. So it makes it a very personal experience for everybody, because everyone's going to take something else out of it. But having a conversation around it, that really opens up the possibilities to explore your imagination and hear what someone else's imagination does with those things. And so, yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And, like, even the gas station, like in the beginning, like, we had this very cold gas station where the kids are having a snowball fight. But then by the end, like, when they're in the movie and she's like embracing who she is, Chris is, and understanding her fears and reservations, and she's pursuing what she wants, then you see, like, the kids having the water gun fight out there. And yeah, I just thought it was great.
Yeah. Solid. I gave it, I think, a 5 out of 5. But like I said, I think it's a little bit more personal for some people than others, me being one of those people. Other people are just going to see it and have a great time. It's not, I don't know. There's going to be like several groups is what I'm trying to say. I think I'm just part of this group that connects to it, so I like it more than if I didn't connect with it.
Sure.
Yeah. Because I've seen some people say they saw it, they got it, they just can't relate to it, so they don't like it.
Okay.
They said the same thing about, I saw the TV glow, and I'm like, well, that's fair. As long as you're not prejudiced, I don't really care about that take.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. This movie isn't for everybody, so you got to kind of go in knowing that. So, but having really enjoyed, I saw the TV glow. I figured I would like this, and then even you told me, like, going in, you're like, hey, because I told you I was going to go see this, and you're like, oh yeah, just don't expect a straight slasher, basically, is what you said, and it was like, okay, and that was great, because then I was like,
well, that's the thing is there's not even teenage sex in this movie, which I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, I don't want to see a movie about teenagers having sex. And you're like, all right, well, don't ever go watch any slasher movie ever again, especially, because it's people like who are into horror saying that. And you're like,
yeah, you're like, that's.
And you can argue, oh, the characters have sex in Miasma, but she says she was 24 when she filmed that too. Like, that's kind of like the part of the movie.
Yes, that's part of the story, but it's also part of her personal journey, which
is a weird and horrifying journey as well. But
yeah, because there's also stuff in there that's implied that's not really spelled out for you, like her personal experience. It sounds like some lines were crossed when that was filmed.
Yeah,
based on her journey, so that makes it interesting too. But I think this movie is anyone that can relate to this is probably. If anyone's had like times in their lives where they just weren't sure about themselves or where they were going or what they're wanting to do, it's just one of those things that, like, yeah, you can see someone, like, it doesn't have to be your story, but you can still see someone go on that journey of self-discovery and figure out who they are or learn about who they are.
Everybody see the kitties smooching? They were just smooching.
I like the silhouette there. So, silhouette, cat silhouettes. I got a couple of comments in here. So, John Martin's chatting away there. Said he's been watching a cartoon called Batfink that was made in 1966, around the time Batman 66, and the Green Hornet that had Bruce Lee in it. An odd cartoon. Yeah, I never seen it. I looked at an image from it. I don't know that I've ever seen any images of it either.
Weird.
That's kind of fascinating. And then Mission Impossible completed collection on 4K. I bet they will. I mean, it's a big franchise. I bet they'll do that.
I bought a Blu-ray collection of that has like either the first 5 or 6 movies in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd probably just pick up the other ones on Blu-ray if I ever felt like I needed them. I haven't seen the last 2.
So. Neither have I. I need to get around to that. That's something that I wanted to see those, but I just haven't watched them yet. Like, I enjoy those. Those are kind of some of those movies that...
I'm not the biggest action guy, but like sometimes I'm like, I need a hankering for a good action movie, and those do the trick. So
the first one's great. Like, I got that on VHS, for Christmas one year when I was a kid, and then the second one I had on DVD, but beyond that, I don't own any of them.
I have that set. It has like the first 6, I want to say.
Oh, nice.
Because the third one's like my favorite, with Philip Seymour Hoffman as the villain.
I was going to say that
one's so fucking good.
Yeah, like he is great in that movie.
You have a wife, girlfriend. I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna hurt her.
I think.
Yeah, and then Simon Pegg was introduced then, so.
Arguably, I think that's probably the best villain, just because that's a stellar performance by Philip Seymour Hoffman.
God damn, do I miss him! But his son is out there doing cool shit.
Yeah,
he did The Long Walk, and he's doing something else with that same actor that just got announced as Black Panther.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What's his name? John? I can't remember either of their names, but
I don't know. And like Philip Seymour Hoffman's son has acting chops, but he doesn't look just like his dad, so it doesn't feel like you're just like trying to cast him second generation. Like, he is his own person, and I think that really works for his career, instead of just being like, oh, you look and sound and act just like your dad.
Yeah, I think
so.
He looks enough like him that when you say that, you're like, oh yeah, I can buy that. But
yeah, but you don't,
not distractingly enough.
Yeah, you don't hear that and just like automatically be like, oh. You're like, once, if you see him, you're not just automatically recognizing like, oh, you know who that looks like. It's like you hear that and you're like, okay, I get that. That adds up.
Yeah. Well, you got anything else to chat about?
I don't know, man. Just getting excited for Halloween season, getting ready to start decorating there.
Yeah. Been doing these paranormal activity videos recently, and gonna have Resident Evil coming out. A couple Resident Evil videos leading up to that. Friday the 13th videos leading up to Crystal Lake. As well as various Halloween videos. I was thinking about doing Halloween and Friday the 13th franchise, but like, that's too much. So I'm going to probably just do the Halloween franchise next year.
Yeah, just do one this year. I mean, Friday the 13th has the new series coming out, so that's probably where I'd go.
That's what I'm thinking, because I'm going to do as much coverage as I can. I'm going to cover all the alternate versions that exist. And
although I did see something the other day, and did you see this? It was the original Halloween trilogy was coming back to theaters or something. Did you see an ad for that?
Yeah. Halloween 3 would be the one I would go. I mean, let's be honest. I would go to the first one as well, but I would go to Halloween 3 first.
If they're going to show them all like as a trilogy and back to back, that'd be great. But I really would love to see Halloween 3 on the big screen. Like, to me, that's
some edibles. Take some shrooms into the theater, medical shrooms.
I fucking love Halloween 3. It's so good. And I get everyone. I'm glad that movie's finally gotten people to accept it.
Oh, it's on this side. That's the mask from it right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the witch mask, yeah.
I need to get the other ones, but...
Yeah, I've got the skeleton. I should have grabbed the pumpkin in that, but they're like $60 a pop, so I didn't want to just go crazy just snagging them all when, trying to be a responsible adult and shit. So you know how that goes.
Yeah, I bought a couple Halloween socks at Dollar General today.
Nice. I saw a shitload of horror themed like sock packs at Walmart the other day when I was walking through there. Can't remember what I was in there for.
Ooh, I need to take a look.
Yeah.
Five Below apparently has a bunch of horror movie shirts too for spooky season now. Like Texas Chainsaw, Scream, like all the hits, as well as like Jennifer's Body, like some cool shit. So
nice. I'll need to check that out. Yeah, I happened to go into Kohl's the other day for like an Amazon return, and they give you like the little coupon when you go in there to do a return. I was like, hey, $10 off, 25 or more. I was like, well, shit, let me look. And I found a Friday the 13th shirt that's glow in the dark. It's got the mask on it, so that looked pretty cool. So I snagged that, and then a Hellfire Club shirt because I'd never snagged one of those before, and it was a high quality one. So I was like, yeah, shit, 2 of those shirts for pretty cheap.
I don't have a t-shirt for Hellfire. I have a hoodie and I think a beanie though.
Yeah. I got the white ringer t-shirt with the black ringers on the neck and the sleeves. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Trying to hit up Spirit Halloween, but I need to wait till I have money.
Yeah, I need to see where some of those are at nearby me. I haven't come across one yet because I definitely want to go in them.
The only one I know that's closest to us now is right next to the dispensary on State Line.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I might have to go there this weekend.
Yeah.
So I got a resin 3D printer a while back, and I finally got it up and going a couple months ago here over the summer. And the wife and I are having our 5-year wedding anniversary, and since she is not watching this right now, I can talk about it, but I've got some really cool like pumpkin colored orange resin and some green resin. So I'm going to do like a really cool like 3D print pumpkin for the 5th anniversary gift.
Going to have like a carving of the date or something on it?
Yeah, I think it's going to have that in there and a couple of things. So I just thought that'd be really fun to do since I can do all that and model it myself and have it be completely unique and custom and do it all in house.
Yeah.
I'm excited to do something like that.
Are you using Blender or something else?
I will be using Blender for that. For some other stuff I printed for like proton pack parts and just nerdy Ghostbuster shit, I've been using Tinkercad because that's what my son's using for modeling stuff, and he showed me how that program is super easy, but it's mostly basic shapes. But once you get the hang of it, I was able to make some parts pretty super easy. He impressed me because he made he's got some Mario Galaxy figures, like he's a Mario fanatic, and he made some different accessories. So Bowser Jr. has a paintbrush, and you can take the paintbrush tip off there, and he's made like other weapons and stuff. So pretty cool that he's like designing his own things and printing them. I'm like, damn, that'd been cool to do as a kid, right? Like, hey, 3D print a new accessories for this toy.
That would have been fucking unstoppable.
Yeah.
We'd have been making so much shit.
Yeah.
Replacement lightsabers out the ass.
Replacement lightsabers, replacement missiles or anything. Like I've only got, like I had that Batmobile and like lost one of the missiles, but you could just easily model a replacement missile and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So. But yeah, beyond that, man, I'm really just looking forward to spooky season. And
your picture's frozen and you're coming in quite... You're breaking up audio-wise. I don't know if it's just...
I know everything's working great on my end.
Huh. Audio's better now, but you're still frozen video.
Well, that sucks. Well, I guess we can wrap this thing up then, man.
Yeah, we're at about 40 minutes. That's long enough for a Tuesday night. Darn, come on.
Yeah.
All right, well, we might be back next week. We'll be back sometime on a Tuesday. And be talking some spooky stuff, most likely. What do we got going on? Buddy is coming out this weekend. I'm going to try to see that. So maybe we'll be talking about that next Tuesday. Maybe if we can both get to see it.
Yeah, I'll be free. Wife's going to be out of town with the kid for about a week starting Thursday, so I am going to see as many movies in theater as I can since I've got my AMC pass, and I'm going to just try to get caught up on some stuff.
All right, well there you go.
So,
Buddy's out this weekend.
good deal. We'll check that out then.
All right, everybody, have a good night. Peace out.
We'll see you later.